Ideal mesmo para o mundo atual seria fazer o ensino médio junto com o curso técnico, certo? É no Senac que o aluno tem autonomia de verdade, formação cidadã, foco na diversidade, preparação para o Enem, material didático sem taxas e muito mais. Na real, tem tudo que você precisa para se sentir preparado para a vida. Seja para entrar no mundo do trabalho ou te ajudar a decidir o que fazer na faculdade. Quer saber? Senac. Vem comigo. Acesse sp.senac.br/ensino-médio-técnico.
On this episode of Bantha Milk Podcast, we skip leg day.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Intro music.
Feels no good to be dead. Bounty hunting is a complicated profession.
I saw Rucker getting down to that too.
Rucker was grooving.
You can't sit and listen and not just at least groove a little into that. And,
That is correct.
I just once again want to throw out props to whoever wrote that. They really wrote a bop. It's just what he did.
This guy is so all about himself, let me tell you.
Anyway,
Rucker, if you didn't figure it out, Nick wrote that himself.
I did write that. I wrote it all on the no inspiration from John Williams at all. It all came from my brain. Yeah, it's running. It's working in there.
It's working.
We
All
are
right.
Bantha Milk Podcast, and Rob's over there.
I'm over there.
I'm over here.
And Rucker is way
over there.
over down there.
But like if you're
or-
watching us on YouTube, if you look down here, you'll notice we're joined by a special guest today.
We have a special guest.
And Rob,
Hey,
why don't you talk about our guest?
I'm going to intro our special guest. We have a very special friend of the show.
Friend of the pod.
Friend of the pod, as they say in the podcast world.
They do say that.
A young friend of ours, by the way. But don't be. I don't know what the word is.
I don't either.
I don't know. But anyway, he could probably lift both of us without even blinking, and he's a young little fella. This is our friend Rucker Johnson. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Super duper. He is
Super duper.
15 years old. Is that correct as well, Rucker?
I am 16.
No, he's 16 now. Happy birthday to you.
Who fact checked this?
I know,
interview,
right? This
Rob?
guy, he hears things and doesn't, double check. He just makes up his own stories. This guy, that's me over here. So Rucker joins us from Oakland, California.
Oh yeah, so he's real far away.
He is very far away. He's on the opposite coast. He is not. We are Atlantic Ocean people.
Yeah.
is-
I have seen the Pacific. I will admit I've seen it in person, but that is my extent of my Pacific knowledge.
Okay.
As I am all East Coast.
All East
He
Coast.
is, cool jazz Stan Getz, and I'm all Dexter Gordon over here.
That's what you are.
Yeah.
Jazz references?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, moving on.
Yes, Rutgers all the way on the west coast of America. And so he set this up for us. This is wonderful. What's the, I'm putting you on the spot. I hope you know it. The name of the fog in San Francisco, the bay's fog. Do you know what the name of it is, Rucker?
The name of the fog in San Francisco is Carl.
Carl, yes.
Wait, Carl?
Yes.
Yeah.
The fog in San Francisco has a name, and it is Carl.
And it is Carl, yes. Yes, it is.
And you just know this. As someone living in the area, this is just something that y'all know. Oh, that's Carl.
That's Carl.
Yeah.
Carl's back, yeah.
Okay, I didn't know this.
Carl comes
The
what?
fog in Oakland is named Kevin, though.
Oh.
Okay, so Kevin is the Oakland version of Carl.
He's the cousin.
I didn't know that
They're
Oakland
cousins.
was equally foggy enough so that you needed a name for your fog.
Not as much as San Francisco, but
Right.
it does get foggy.
Okay, and is there do Kevin and Carl have some sort of a rivalry, or are they buds? They chill.
I don't know.
We got to look into that.
We got to find out how friendly they are.
Yeah, man. All right.
Yeah. So when
This is now geography facts with Bantha
it sure
Milk
is
podcast.
Bantha Milk geography facts.
That's right.
When we went on vacation to California and when we were in San Francisco, we did. Are you an Oakland A's fan?
Not really.
Not really. Okay. Are you a baseball fan?
No.
Oh,
There
okay.
you go.
Because the Oakland A's are playing the Phillies, which we're very close to Philadelphia, big Phillies fans, and we swept the Dodgers, which for Ryan, who is friends of David, that you are friends with. So there's the 7 degrees of separation.
That's 2
there.
degrees right
2
there.
degrees
yeah.
right there. Ryan is a big fan of the Dodgers, so I had to make fun of him a little bit because the Phillies actually beat them. And then we turn around and lose to the Oakland A's, who have 30-something wins this year, and the Phillies have 60. So it was
Way to go, Rob. Way to go.
bad turnaround.
I'm blaming
there.
you.
It's all my fault because
It's
I was
probably
bragging.
your fault,
Yeah, it
yeah.
is. It's all my fault. So anyway, Rucker's
So we do have
from
Rucker
Oakland,
here.
yes.
Rucker is from Oakland. We've gotten that far. We know
We
that
have
much
gotten that
about him
far.
so far. I'm sure there's more reason than that. Than
Right,
easy.
and it's not just because we are now Bantha Milk and weightlifting podcast.
No, but
But
he is a weightlifter.
Rucker is a weightlifter, and he is a medal-winning weightlifter, I might add.
Okay.
Yes. So you were actually just out here last month. If David would have hit us up a month ago, we could have been
done
doing this in person.
That's right.
But no,
Yeah.
David let us down, whatever. So you were here in Philadelphia for the, is it AAU? Is it high school? Like, go ahead, tell us your whole weightlifting story. You don't need me to say it. You're here for a reason.
Okay, so I was in Philadelphia for the nationals weightlifting competition. Yeah.
Great. And what kind of weightlifting do you do? Is it powerlifting? Is it like what specific type of powerlifting do you do?
I do Olympic weightlifting. So the difference between Olympic and powerlifting weightlifting is Olympic has 2 categories instead of 3, and those categories are the snatch and clean and jerk.
Okay, so like powerlifting would be like squat and like the
He said clean and jerk. was the other one.
deadlift,
Deadlift,
right?
yeah.
Whereas Olympic, you said, is clean and jerk.
Yeah, clean and jerk, and then the snatch.
Okay,
Snatch.
all right.
Yeah.
So the snatch brings it up to your like shoulders, right?
That is the clean and jerk.
And then
That's the
snatch
clean
is
and jerk.
up top, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I used to power lift quite a bit. I never did any of the Olympic stuff, but I used to power lift quite a bit. And I did try a couple sets of those
20
every
pounds.
now and then.
And it
And
got up to 20
There
pounds.
is, I mean, if that, man. Like, there is so much strength everywhere required just for the balance to keep everything, the core strength.
Yeah.
So, you know, hats off to you. That is some crazy stuff. So how did you do out here in Philly? How did the competition go for you?
I did well. I got let's see. I got 3rd in the snatch and then 2nd overall and 1st in the clean and jerk, I believe.
Great.
So first, second, third, they're all. Nick, what did you when you were competing? You came in 2023, I think. 22.
Come on, Rob.
Out of 2021 competitors.
It's
Yes.
it's obscene that you would besmirch
I would
me like
not
this.
know that.
Come on now.
So, coming in first, second, and third, I'm going to say that you can lift it.
A fair amount.
Looking at these guns that I have over here, I'm up to I got the 5.5 pound dumbbells now. I went from the 5s to the 5.5s, and I need to take off every 4 days after a couple of. I'm just exhausted, and Rucker does a little bit more than that. So when you get those places, third place, how much were you? Was it clean and jerk in third? Do you remember which one you did in which position?
Yeah. So the clean and jerk, I did 138 kilos, which is
Kilos. That's
They-
one of them fancy European numbers.
They do the metric numbers.
yeah. It is 303.6 pounds.
That's an
300.
awful lot of weight.
That's more than I weigh.
Yeah, and that's saying something.
That's saying something because I'm fat.
That ain't right. So you've got these events you travel all the way out to Philly for. Obviously, it's not just a hobby, a passing fancy. You got to train for these sort of things. What does training for this sort of stuff look like? What does your weekly training look like?
My weekly training consists of 4 days, and every, yeah, I have 3 of those days I am usually squatting, and then the other day I'm just working on my technique.
Okay. Do you have a cardio day at all, or do you work cardio into your thing, or do you avoid cardio?
Say cardio's for old men.
Tell me you avoid cardio and make me feel happy.
I guess we have some cardio in our warm up, but
Okay.
not really.
Okay. I'm sure your heart works plenty hard when you're working.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a hard time with cardio, Rob. I really do.
Yeah.
All right, so
so-
you said 4 days a week.
4 days.
All right, and that's interesting because I feel like a lot of people think, all right, if you want to do the thing and you want to really go the extra mile, you got to go every day. But I feel like the people who are smart and do it right know that you do that, you're just going to hurt yourself. You can't overtrain. So you have 4 days. What do those 3 rest days look like for you?
They're kind of just normal.
Lots of
Yeah.
Oreos.
Yeah. Yeah, well, there's got to be a specific. Do you have a specific diet for like this sort of stuff? Are you tracking your macros for these sorts of things?
Not really. I just need to make sure that I'm eating enough to make my weight go up instead of go down.
Yeah, that's a problem I have.
That's easy for me. I
I have
can
to
make
worry
my
about
weight go
too.
up real easily.
I got to tell you, I remember
Fried chicken.
I remember when I had that problem, man, and that
Of not
listen,
being able to get your weight to go up. Yeah.
when I was
when you were 16, it
Rucker's
was
age,
easy.
man,
Yeah.
I could put it down and nothing would happen. And
I could eat a
just
whole family-sized bag of chips
hold
in one
on to
sitting.
that Rucker, man.
Yep.
You just gotta
Yeah.
understand from 2 old dudes what a gift you have
Yeah.
right now, and just hold on to it.
Hold on to that because once you get a little older, I don't care. Now, a lot of people say it's because we stopped moving around. Look, I
moved plenty, man.
moved from the left side of the sofa to the right side of the sofa yesterday.
You are.
It was a lot of movements for me. I'm saying. I don't know what they're saying.
You're a regular nomad, roaming around the countryside.
So do you? There's this guy. He plays quarterback for the Eagles. I don't know if you ever heard of him. Named Jalen Hurts. Do you follow football at all? You don't follow baseball.
Slightly.
Slightly?
Not enough to know
Okay.
player names.
So his big thing, they were all, he can squat so much. They showed him. He's got like videos. He would squat 600 pounds. At I think he only did it once because I don't think anybody could do 10 sets of 600 pounds. It
No,
seems
I
like a
don't
lot.
think
Yeah.
Seems
But,
like a max PR.
Yeah, but I squat 6 pounds the other day, so I was very impressed with that.
You're doing
And then
great.
you're doing squats 3 days a week. Are you doing like multiple sets? You're not maxing out. So we both teach middle school. So everybody in middle school,
What's your 1 rep max?
yeah, the middle school kids, the middle school kids are just discovering the gym. They're just finding, around here, Planet Fitness is like free for the kids for the summer. So everybody goes and, what's your max? I was benching 45 yesterday. That was my max. So are you even allowed to try for your maxes in practices, or are you working on just consistency and building up and all that good stuff?
I'm allowed to max out, but it's usually towards the end of the squat cycle that we do.
Okay. So what did you
Do you have a 1 rep max for your
to
stuff?
impress all the middle school kids out there? What's your squat max?
Let's see. So it is 200 kilos, which
Here he goes with the
is-
kilos again. He thinks he's in Europe. You're in Oakland.
It's 440 pounds.
400.
Yeah, 440.
Holy mackerel! That's
That's an awful lot of pounds.
That's an awful lot of pounds. So I could sit on his right shoulder. You
And
could
I
sit
could
on his left shoulder, and he could squat us.
Yeah, we might need to shift the weight around a little
Right.
bit.
I mean, we have to even it out a little bit, but yeah. But,
All right.
Well, that is highly impressive. And now the whole reason that we have a 16-year-old power lifter on here who
First
is
of all, not
breaking
power lifter.
records, weightlifter,
Olympic lifter. But second of all, check out, he just now moved that
I know, he
camera
moved
down
it down
so
a
we
little
can
bit.
see that shirt. It's an excellent shirt you got going on there. Was that Bar Wars? I love that.
Yeah.
That's great, man.
So you have a Bar Wars shirt on, And the whole reason David suggested that you come talk to us is because not only are you an exceptional weightlifter and getting first, second, third places at nationals, and I don't want to put too much pressure on you, but is one of your goals to try for the Olympics, or you just want to just keep trying for as much as you can and just have fun with it for now?
I mean, I want to still have fun with it, but going to the Olympics would be cool.
Would be very cool. All right.
would.
I mean, be cool for me too. I was wanting to get the Olympic rings tattooed on my body somewhere, but you need to, in my opinion, you need to be one of those Olympic athletes. It's almost like a stolen valor type thing to me.
I don't think that you'll get arrested or anything for that.
You know,
I don't think they'll chase you down.
they'll just laugh at me. They'll be like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
you were in the Olympics for what? Curling?" You
Yeah.
know. So, but Rucker, I mean, he'll fit the bar there if he. So, all right. Well, that would be awesome. But going back to the Bar Wars, you have a whole tie-in to Star Wars with your weightlifting. So, can you tell us about that? How you tie in Star Wars into your weightlifting?
Yeah. So, I mean, during training, I'll usually like go up to my coach or one of the other kids and just like ask them if they've seen a recent Star Wars thing and talk to them about it.
Okay, and then you say, "Watch me use the Force on this bar as I power lift 300, as I squat 330 kilos," and you just use the Force on. Do you ever walk into a store where they have the doors open automatically and use the Force to open them up?
Who doesn't do that?
Who doesn't do that? I'm sure you do
I'm
that as
37,
well.
almost 37 years old. I still do that.
You're only 37.
Almost.
Oh my God,
Almost.
Rucker. Don't even get me started on he's whatever. So yeah, so it's like so you do that with your coaches. You tell them, watch this. I can use the Force, and you open up the doors. And then you train at Speed Power Strength Gym, correct?
Yes.
What's that like? So tell us what Speed Power Strength, what it's like training there, and what your coaches are like there.
As we were mentioning before our commercial break, that's what that was. You train at Speed Power Strength Gym. How long you been training there? What are your coaches like? How do you enjoy it?
I really enjoy it. My coaches are great, and see. Sorry, what was the first question you asked?
I mean, I really that's about it.
Yeah.
What do you like? I mean, is there a specific thing? Is there a reason why you train at that gym versus other gyms? It's just kind of close to your house.
It's the closest one, and I really like being at that gym. I've been there for what, five years now.
But there's a bigger question in here. You have already received scholarships to colleges for powerlifting, for weightlifting?
Yes.
That's awesome. Now, have you accepted that first one, or are you waiting for more options, or?
I haven't accepted anything yet because I don't really know what I'm going to do.
Okay, that makes sense.
Well, as an LSU alumni, I will go ahead and say you should go to LSU. Love me some LSU, and if you're from California, it means you haven't yet experienced the Louisiana thing. It's quite the experience. So take that for what it is. LSU, good stuff.
So yeah, Nick went there, so he highly recommends it. So you should do that.
I sure do.
Big fan of Star Wars. What was your first memory of Star Wars? What's your Star Wars story?
I got into Star Wars through the sequels, through the Force Awakens,
Okay.
and I really liked that movie. I thought that was a good movie.
So you started with the sequels, you said. Did you, after watching The Force Awakens, did you then dig into some of the other stuff, like the older stuff?
Yeah, it did take me a while because
There's a lot.
it's hard to find the older movies, but I have seen, I think, all of them. Yeah.
Great. And you're keeping up to date with the current shows as well? You're watching The Acolyte, you watched like Ahsoka and all that?
Yes.
All right. And what are your thoughts so far on the show? You can be honest.
I don't necessarily like the order of the episodes.
Okay.
And I think that the 7th and 3rd episode.
Yeah. Yeah, the 7th is the last episode so far. And it's the worst, you said?
Oh, I think
we lost him.
I
Now
think
we lost
him.
Rucker. Oh, no. Well, while we're waiting for him to come back, we can pop open since he's only 15. We don't want him drinking.
Yeah,
with
I
us.
already.
I know you already did.
Yeah.
But I went out today and I got some Evil Genius beer.
I said what I said.
I said what I said. And I think it's very appropriate for for this show.
Yeah.
Because the Acolyte is what it is, and we said
we
what we said about it.
about it.
It's a key lime margarita sour beer. I don't even know.
That's a lot of adjectives.
Yeah, there's a lot of adjectives in there. It'll be interesting to see what it tastes like, because if it tastes like, I don't know, we'll see. It's clear so far. I think it's because it's a margarita beer. I poured too much.
Wow, look at that, man. Careless.
I poured way too fast.
Careless.
Way too fast.
You're going to be fizzing all day.
I know. Luckily, I still have plenty left, so I can try and...
Well, that's going to get worse if you keep doing that.
Yeah, I was trying to make it go down. Oh, try this.
How is the fuzzy beer?
So it's a sour.
Yeah.
It's definitely a sour. Key lime margarita sour. It's exactly what it says.
Sure.
Yeah.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, if I knew that that's what I was getting when I opened it up, it would have been fine. But
that's not what you knew.
No. So it's definitely it. You know when you use a Sour Patch Kid or something like that.
That's what
it
you
does
got
one of
right
those
now.
things. Yeah.
Hey, there he is.
And now
What's up,
Rucker's
man?
back. Good.
Happy to have you
sorry,
back.
My computer just died.
It's okay.
That's
You
okay.
would not believe the amount of technical difficulties that podcasts have. And when I say podcasts, I mean ours.
And also, being educators, every kid who brings their Chromebook to school is
It's
dead,
uncharged.
so
That's
it's not
true.
charged.
Yeah.
So it doesn't surprise us there, Rucker.
Yep.
I have a question for you about the Rogue One soundtrack was played for you at the Youth Championships. Tell us all about that. Tell us the big shocker to you. You didn't even know about this. So tell us the whole story. What happened?
Yeah, we were getting ready for nationals, and my friend put the Imperial March on, and it is very exciting.
Yeah.
I can see that. Yes.
Yeah, that's a whole vibe, that one, man. Like,
Were you-
I feel like if you're trying to get psyched up, especially listen, like I said, I used to go to the gym, so like there are certain things you play to get yourself in the zone. That would do the trick.
That would definitely do the trick.
Man.
Did you throw an extra plate on each side as you're hearing the Imperial March?
No, I think I'd already loaded the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah,
At that
of course
point,
he
it's
did.
like-
He already loaded it up. It's already had
Once you reach
500
max
kilos
level.
on it. I
Yeah.
mean, it was already bending in half when he picked it up with one finger as it was. So
That's right.
yeah, he couldn't put any more on.
All right, man.
But yeah, so that's awesome. Well, so David from PunyPod, our good friends over at PunyPod, he was very impressed with you as a young man, and he's also into weightlifting. Now he is not 15. This David, he's older than me, Nick. I know you didn't think anybody was older than me, but David is.
I have a dad.
Okay. But yeah, so Dave is out there powerlifting with you. Do you see him? You train with him like one day a week? You see him out there once in a while?
I think so. Yeah.
Does he? What's you can tell us? No one else is listening. What's he do? Like 50 pounds, 60 pounds?
I bet he uses a Smith machine.
I don't remember.
Yeah. He's on the Smith machine
He's
doing
on the
lunges.
He's doing lunges on the Smith machine.
Yeah,
You gotta-
just with the bar.
just the one bar on the machine. When after Rucker's done, he's got to take off all the plates, and he goes, "Okay, David, have at it." He's
Yeah.
like, "There you go."
That's right.
Well, this is very exciting for us, Rucker, because I'm not putting all the pressure on you, but when you are in the Olympics in what do you think? 8 years from now? Do you think?
4. He'll be
4
in
years.
next Summer Olympics.
You think you can do it by next Summer Olympics? When you're there next Summer Olympics and you're wearing a Bantha Milk podcast shirt, as you're clean and jerking 700 kilos, and everybody's like, "What?" He'd be like,
700 kilos.
"That's what he's doing."
700 kilos.
Yeah, he's strong. It's going to be an Olympic record.
That's 1,500 pounds.
He can lift a Volkswagen. Look at him. Look at him. He can do
Rob
that.
has a lot of faith in you,
I
brother.
have faith
think
in
you're
you.
pretty strong, but Rob has a lot of faith in you.
Dude, watch. He's going to put a Volkswagen on each side of the bar, and he's just going to be like, "Watch this."
gonna like Popeye. He's gonna eat his
His
spinach.
Popeye, yes, spinach and a Bantha milk shirt, and he'll be set to go.
I guess so.
So David spoke very highly of you. He was very impressed, and he thought it was funny, and about the soundtrack, the Imperial March going up there, and the fact that you're a huge Star Wars fan, that he thought you would be a great guest for us. So I think this is awesome. Anybody who's this year at the Olympics, you're not going to see him this year at the Olympics in Paris, but in 4 years from now, look for Rucker out there cleaning, jerking, and snapping, and squatting, and deadlifting.
Let's hope he's not snapping.
Snapping.
Yeah, we don't want to snatching. Maybe snapping.
Snatching.
No,
yes,
no
he's
snapping.
doing all that. And I'll still be working on my 5.5 pound dumbbells over here. I'll be like,
right.
rah, I'm so strong. And Rucker's going to be doing Volkswagen Beetles.
That's right.
So, what we're going to do is we're going to hit up another real fast commercial, and then
Then we'll talk a little.
we're going to talk about
Acolyte.
The Acolyte. So if you want to
Yeah.
stick around, Rucker, you can stick around. We can talk about The Acolyte. We'll be right back after these commercial breaks.
Sair da escola já com uma formação profissional no currículo? Metodologia por projetos? Preparação para o Enem? Atividades extras gratuitas, como acesso a oficinas, simulados, vagas de estágio, Olimpíadas do Conhecimento e muito mais? Esse é o Ensino Médio Técnico do Senac. Quer saber? Senac. Acesse sp.senac.br/ensino médio e saiba mais.
And
All
we're
right.
back.
And we're back. What a great ad that was.
Yeah, I hear that they are going to hire Rucker as their national spokesperson to sell that product.
Whatever that product was.
Rucker uses 4 of those products every workout.
I hope.
And they help him to stay strong and effective in the gym and in the classroom.
That's right. Oh, yes. Rucker also, while doing all this, he still holds on to a 2.9 GPA, doesn't he, Rucker?
Yeah.
Yeah, 3.0 GPA. Look at this
Good for
guy.
you, man.
This guy's, he's doing it all.
Doing it all.
Just whatever you do, don't join the band. They're the worst people.
How dare you?
Oh, I'm sorry.
How dare you?
Yeah. I'm already in the orchestra.
Oh, no way. What do you
Oh,
play?
he's in the orchestra.
Violin.
Good for you, brother. Keep it up.
Nice.
Don't let this guy get to you. Keep on fighting the good
Look,
fight.
just because I can't learn nothing, I can't learn none of them. They're instruments that you guys play, so that's awesome. Yeah, Nick's a band director, and then you're in the orchestra. You're a weightlifter.
He really does do it all.
He does do it all. He does do it all.
Rucker is the model that we
Modern
can point
Renaissance
to
man,
that
yes.
says, "Look at this. You really can do it all."
Do you cook as well, Rucker?
Yes, but not often.
Not often.
He can do
Okay.
it. He pulls it out when he needs
When
it.
he needs to. When nobody else is around, he can make the meanest spaghetti there is.
That's right.
He can boil water like anybody's business. It's fun. So real fast, your nickname Buddy, where did that come from?
My dad just called me Buddy.
Just started calling you Buddy? Because funny thing, I can't remember anybody's names, and being a teacher, that's a really bad thing because I teach like 600 kids every year. So I just call everybody Buddy. So in this case, it would actually fit.
That's right.
I could just call you Buddy, and it would actually work. So that works out really well for me. I just need 599 more kids with the nickname of Buddy, and I'll be set. All right, I have this book, Awesome Facts for Star Wars Fans, and we talked about the first 2 last week, Nick. This, we'll do 2 more. A Man with a Vision.
Okay.
Are you ready for this? After
think so.
George Lucas had completed a script for the first Star Wars film. By the way, did you know Mark Hamill never saw a Star Wars movie before being in one?
Wow, what a poser.
Yeah, I know, what a poser.
That's crazy.
Whatever. After George Lucas has completed a script for the first Star Wars film, he started looking for a production studio. He found one at 20th Century Fox. Unlike Lucas himself, they were not wholly convinced of the commercial success of the idea, which is why they granted him some of the rights. Lucas retained all rights to potential sequels and all Star Wars merchandise. You can imagine how much money George Lucas has made over the years selling figures, breakfast cereal, bedding, sweaters, and anything connected to the Star Wars universe.
Oh, yeah. He made all his money on
on all the toys and everything. Yeah, the
Yep.
merchandising, and that was like nobody did merchandising like that for movies before. So when he said I wanted all this,
Sure, why not?
sure, why not? And now he's making billions of dollars just on billions on posters and toys and whatever. All right, partially buried. Last one in the forest of Endor, the Imperial troops used so-called all-terrain scout transports, ATST for short. During the battle against the rebels and the Ewoks in Episode 6, Return of the Jedi, the last ATST is captured by Chewbacca and 2 Ewoks. After filming was complete, the model of the two-legged runner, which stands more than 28 feet tall, was to be set up on the grounds of Skywalker Ranch in California. Unfortunately, the runner was disassembled into so many parts for transport that it could not be reassembled.
Wow.
Today, the pieces are buried somewhere on the site.
They're just buried.
They're
They just buried them.
on these- I don't know how to put this back together.
It's like how I feel anytime I get something from IKEA. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like you get it home, you get it partway made up, and then I decided, okay, screw this, I'm going to bury this outside.
That's right. I had this
all the
one
time.
extra bolt. I don't know what to do with it. Just bury the whole
Bury it
thing.
in the backyard.
Buried in the backyard. So that's pretty funny. So the ATST is buried somewhere. You can go try and find it. You're out there in California. You're near the
Yeah, you're
redwoods.
closest.
Start digging.
Rucker, you start digging. We'll be out there as soon as we can.
As soon as we
When
can.
we get there.
That can be part of your training. Is just digging holes all over California.
It'll build chest strength. For
It sure will. Yeah.
All right, so let's talk Acolyte.
Let's talk Acolyte.
We got 2 more episodes since our last breakdown.
Right.
The last time we were here, Rucker, we talked what I would say is the best episode of The Acolyte thus far, which was, what was that, episode
5,
Yeah,
Night.
it was Night.
Yes.
So we have had 2 episodes since then, and it was our sincere hope that after episode 5, Night, we were seeing a distinct turning point, and that from here on out, we got our great, rad, freaking Star Wars show.
Yes.
Did that hold water?
No, not even a little bit. Because episode 6, Teach/Corrupt, was 36 minutes long, and that was including all the credits and all that other nonsense. The IMDb a definition or description: on a distant island, unsettling questions about identity and destiny arise. That's all they say about it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that episode, you had to remind me that episode even happened, honestly, because I, from what I recall, very little did. I know we saw a brief glimpse of Vernestra's light whip.
yes.
Oh, that's right. And that was the one where he went all shirtless Kylo.
Yes, we saw Manny Jacinto with practically no clothes on whatsoever.
Yeah, he took a bath.
Took a bath.
And then
So
he had all these carvings on his back.
Yes, his looked like he got whipped with a light whip.
And
there.
that's what people are saying. Like, there's this whole, like, oh, they look like whip marks. Maybe Vernestra's a bad guy. I think it's possible that those are whip marks. I don't know that it's definite, but if it is, I think what probably happened is that he was a Jedi and Vernestra was his master, and
it would be
she
interesting
had
to
stop
see
him from doing something bad.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if obviously he was a Jedi because he knows too much to have trained himself. So just like Dooku was a Jedi first, Dooku was a Jedi first. So he was a Jedi at some point in time.
I think he could have been. I think he could also be lying because maybe he was trained by whoever his master is. But I think it is more likely that he was a Jedi who did something where, because this whole series, kind of the whole point of this series is setting up the Clone Wars and setting up, hey, this is how the Jedi started to become corrupt and started to turn away from their ideals and started to become handcuffed by bureaucracy. And so, a lot of what we've seen is Vernestra trying to sweep things under the rug, right? Like, oh, we can't let this get out. We have political rivals. We've had all this.
Yeah.
So my guess is that Vernestra, this whole like fire thing that they did, plus whatever Vernestra has going on in the past, are things that were swept under a rug. And when they're talking this whole, how do you kill a Jedi without a weapon? I think I've talked before in the past how it's not about really killing a Jedi. It's about killing the Jedi as a whole.
Yeah.
And I think how you do that is by, you expose them. Like, people at this time see them as, oh, these are the good guys. They're going to come to our aid. They're the best. Like, they can't do anything wrong. When all of a sudden all this comes out that they were lying about this, they covered up this, it's going to dispel the illusion that the Jedi are these wonderful people, and the Republic are then going to be poised to come in and start to control them. So you can do this, you can't do this, and that's going to slowly, over however many years into the Clone Wars, devolve into the bureaucracy and the corruption that we see.
Correct.
That's my thought.
That's Nick's thought. So, going back to the episode,
Right, that.
we see Manny, the Stranger. He's still listed as the Stranger. He hasn't been given a name yet.
Well, he's Chimere.
Chimere, yeah.
But, like, Chimere is his alter ego.
Right.
For when he's, like, the bumbling dude.
The bumbling, yeah.
So his specifically, like, they've been pretty cagey
Sith
about
name,
that. But, like,
yeah.
Chimere is specifically not this guy. This guy
Kind of
is
like
the Stranger.
the child
Right.
then became Grogu.
Right.
Because it was very important that we hide the name Grogu because it
Yeah.
means so much.
Yep.
But, yeah. So he... Oh, in the very beginning also, we see May is still trying to... She's on the ship with Master Soul, and she's disguising herself as her sister and thinks that nobody knows, even though the little badger dude smells her out. Soul knows right away because he calls her, he says, oh, your sister, rather than saying the real names and all that other stuff. And then she gets on the microphone and she's about to call somebody or whatever, and then he stuns her and ties her up and ties her down or whatever. And he tells her, I've had 16 years to tell you this, so you're going to hear all this.
He gets all villainy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got
so
this,
he...
like, weird, like smirky, angry smile on his face.
Yeah.
He's very not like he's been the rest of the season.
Yeah, he's very angry, which, the dark side causes anger.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, that's what I hear. And then you flip that over, and the Stranger's, chill. He's taking a bath. He says, look, you can leave. I'm not keeping you here. Spaceship's over there. You better start swimming now if you want to get to it. Some people have compared that island that they're on
to Octo, yeah.
To Octo.
My immediate thought was it looked like Octo.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah, Rucker thought as well. So I was watching Screen Crush, and he neither confirms nor denies that it was Octo. What he did say was they definitely didn't film it in the same exact place on Earth.
Right.
So whether it's supposed to be Octo or not, would be interesting, because the fact that a not Sith is living on the island of Octo, which is where the first Jedi temple Jedi temple.
Because at some point the location of that Jedi temple was lost, right? So it suggests that while it was lost, the Sith knew where it was, at the very least.
Yeah. So he knew where it was. So it would be interesting. I'm sure that's what we're going to get to and find out that eventually that...
Maybe.
I mean, there's one episode left this season.
Maybe.
And who knows if there's going to be another season. So he's all trying to train her. He's being nice. The Jedi are being mean. And then the other group of Jedi go down onto the planet and find all the dead Jedi there. And they did what I was hoping Soul would have done last episode, which she did say, all right, get everybody, get all these bodies and bring them back to the ship. Like, you don't leave your fallen fellows behind and all that other good stuff. But they're all confused, and I don't understand the little Mog Adana, the guy who was her Padawan, I guess he is. He's kind of whiny and whatever.
Oh, Moog, yeah.
Yeah, Moog, yeah. He was, I don't know, whatever. But there really wasn't much, in my opinion, that happened in this episode.
There was one cool line that I really liked because it kind of harkened back to the books, that it kind of, again, gave a little eye wink to people who are familiar. Because in the books and comics, Vernestra, when she goes into hyperspace, experiences these visions, these force visions that are really intense and uncomfortable for her. And so when he's saying, I know that you don't like traveling in hyperspace, and she's like, it's not that I don't like it. makes me or whatever it is.
Yeah.
That's what she's referring to.
Right.
And like it just does it kind of one-off line that you probably hadn't, if you hadn't read, you'd probably go, oh, that's an interesting little line to put in there. But it is like a direct call to like the fact that she did experience these intense Force visions, and it's at least like a nod to, hey, we know what's going on. And for that reason, it makes me suspicious of Vernestra being a bad guy. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Now, Vernestra in the most recent book, and the most recent book was set 120 years before this. So she's much young. She's like a 16, 17-year-old kid in the book.
Probably can squat like 600 pounds.
Yeah, she's like Rucker, essentially. But for real though, like she's this precocious kid, and she's really good. Like she's far ahead of her time. She's the youngest Jedi Knight, like at the point. But like she's not bad. Like there's no even hint at it. She is mistrustful of the council. Like there are parts in the book specifically where her and the other characters are talking about they're not sure that the Jedi Council is, like, specifically they're saying the Jedi Council is not always right.
And in the movies they do that or in the series,
right?
They do that as well. Like they don't. Maybe it's in the episode 7. They're like, we don't need to tell the council about this. Like, so
it wouldn't shock me if something happened and she hid it from the council, but I don't think that it's something that is like, oh my gosh, Vernestra's a villain. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because they do hint at that a lot in episode 7 with everything that goes down with May and Osha and training her and all this other stuff, that they're keeping this whole mission basically a secret from the Jedi Council. So everything is now backpedaling into what you were saying, and they even talk about it in the sequels and everything, how the Jedi Council, when they first rediscover the Sith in episode 2 or 3, whatever, of the movies, and they say, okay, well, we won't tell that if the Sith is back, people won't trust us, so we're going to keep this to ourselves, type of thing. Like Yoda says that to Mace Windu. So there is a lot of Jedi covering things up, and we're digging into that as well in this series. Yep. All right, so that was episode 6 for the most part. Rucker, did you have any opinion on episode 6?
I don't really remember things well enough to give an opinion on it.
Yeah, it wasn't exactly a wholly remarkable. You know, there are a couple of lines that were interesting, but again, it was mainly felt like filler in a show that does not have room for filler.
Yeah, when there's only 8 episodes, it's like,
and
come on.
36 minutes long.
Yeah.
Anyway, episode 7.
Episode 7.
There was slightly more happening in episode 7, but not, again, it wasn't near like episode 5. We got the other side of our flashback, which again we knew we would get. We knew we would get a little more clarity, but like we didn't really get a lot more clarity. Like we saw kind of what happened. We saw that Soul. Well, first of all, we saw the interaction between the witches in their first interaction. We saw what happened inside of little Tommen Baratheon's head. That's Tommen, by the way, the kid who.
Yes.
I didn't realize until my wife pointed it out. That she went into his head and essentially was like exploiting, like trying to figure out what he wanted the most, and I guess he just wants to get the hell out of there.
Yeah, and it was neat. They show you what it is like when the Jedi go into your head and mess with you.
It's not just like, oh, my brain just, it's like you're transported almost to like an ethereal realm, I guess. So yeah, and we got to see exactly why he went a little nutty. The way it was set up initially, it made the Jedi look worse. Like it made them look like they were just kind of barging in to see what was going on, but it really just made Soul look worse. Yeah, because like at a certain point, it just kind of makes him look like he's just trying to justify them being there. You know what I mean? He's like, hey, we have a noble cause here. We're here for a reason. And he found his reason, and he made a big...
And he made sure that he got his way, no matter what else happened. He wanted to make sure he got his way, and in doing so...
Very un-Jedi-like.
Yeah, and it messed up a lot of things in doing so, and they're saying a lot of nod to Anakin being too old. They were saying May's too old, you know, like a lot of... And then him being like, "Oh, I'm going to do it anyway," just like Obi-Wan. You know, I'm going to do it anyway. Blah, what? So, yeah. So this episode 7 was called Choice. I don't know. They did a flashback to episode 3, which was
the worst episode.
Was the worst episode. So as soon as they're flashing back to episode 3, I wanted to text you immediately as I'm watching it and be like, dude.
God, I hope they don't sing. And I think they did sing a little bit.
They tried to. And at the very end of it, they had like a pop song, a Star Wars pop song.
Yeah, what was that all about?
Yeah.
That was really strange.
I'm sure, Rucker, that's on your playlist now when you're working out. Is that pop song on there?
It was all like Twin Flame.
I thought the song was cool because I think the only other time we've gotten something like that, it was Sabine's intro in the Ahsoka show.
Yeah, and I do like. You're right when she's like on the motorcycle, right? Yeah. I loved that. That was really cool. I do like it when every now and then shows take you out like that. Interesting. Like there's the one episode of Game of Thrones where with the Bear and the Maiden Fair at the very end they go into like a pop punk version of it, which I think is kind of cool. So I don't mind that. I don't know. It was it was just very on the nose. We're like twin flames, two but one. I don't know. It just seemed very.
They just took the script and
and
just
they
started singing it.
But no, yeah. So it was it was like there was some interesting moments that popped out in the episode to me.
So it was a whole flashback of episode 3, but now from the Jedi view as opposed to from the. They're not technically Darthmerian witches, Night Sisters, but
they're
are
a type of a coven of some type of Force witch.
Yeah. So we see, Soul is, and also Torben is the typical 16-year-old kid.
Sorry, man.
Don't
mean to pigeonhole y'all in one hole
from
here,
us old people over here. I want to go home. This is boring. I don't want to do this.
Here.
My iPad is dead. I can't do anything on my iPad. This moss is stupid. But
Rob has a 16-year-old daughter.
Yes, I do. I know all about it. All too well. But and they were talking about how what did they call it that happened on the planet because the planet was dead.
So that again is a distinct callback to the books because the very first book in the High Republic series, Light of the Jedi, it's all based around this
which
disaster.
is what I'm reading right now.
Yes,
Boom. Great book.
It's all. Have you gotten to the disaster yet?
Yeah.
So the great hyperspace disaster.
Right. There's a giant hyperspace disaster.
Right. So there's a ship.
My chair just hyperspace disaster.
There's a ship called the Legacy Run that is essentially it's in hyperspace and it explodes and it goes into all different. Bits. The bits keep emerging from hyperspace and hitting planets, and no matter even if small bits going at that speed will do some serious damage. So there was a planet in Jedi Survivor they called back to that, and then this planet that they're on here. They say, there was
a hyperspace disaster.
There was a hyperspace.
Yeah.
And that's what they're calling.
And
back to.
They're calling back to that. So that hyperspace disaster in that book killed everything on the planet, but then there was what were they calling it?
A vergence.
There was a vergence that happened in the last 100 years, and now suddenly all this life forms are on this planet again.
Yeah, it's interesting because a vergence can be coupled because like Anakin Skywalker was a vergence,
and they said in the movies this is the first time that a vergence has been around a person.
Right.
So normally it's not
around a person. Yeah, because they even say, I found a vergence. You're right. I do remember them saying that.
Yeah. So this episode actually it was a little bit deeper to me than episode 6 was. There was a lot more callbacks to, like you said, to the book, to other Star Wars references.
The other thing that I don't know that a lot of people will have gotten from this that I think is going to be, well, I would have been if they didn't kill him off, but would have been an interesting introspection about, when Kelnaka, like when they that's obviously the Wookiee Jedi Master, when he got his phone call in the middle of his podcast,
because he didn't have his phone on silent, be professional.
So when he got controlled by the witches, Number one, when Trinity pulled him out of it, it looked like the witches died.
Yes.
So I don't know if that actually happened or not, but it looks like they caused some trouble there.
So that was pretty cool because she, by her pulling because all collectively, they were all doing it together. So then when she was able to
yank them out,
she wound up killing them all at the same time.
That's what it looked like to me.
So that was pretty impressive. That
the thing that would have been interesting to dissect as far as the personality, and maybe it kind of explains why he was in hiding. When he was possessed, he grabbed what's-his-face by the face and used his claws.
Yes.
And in Wookiee culture, that is a big no-no. They call people who use their claws mad claws, and they'll like literally send them out. Like it's like you're banished.
You're out. You're banished.
So obviously he wasn't doing it himself, but I'd imagine that probably messed with him when he came to and realized he had used his claws against a buddy of his.
You even see on the ship afterwards when they're discussing, the cover up and all that stuff. He's like pacing in the background and he's very angry about it. And then when you see, if you go back and watch 2 episodes earlier, he was drawing all the witches' symbols and stuff on the walls over and over again because it did have such a PTSD, like a mind flare to him that it just messed him up so much.
Yep.
So yeah, we did get to see Jedi lightsaber battle or Wookiee lightsaber battle.
It was fun. It wasn't as crazy as I thought it might be. It was just someone fighting a big guy with a lightsaber.
And it made me think, you're with the Force, you're so strong, but a Wookiee is so much stronger to start with.
Right.
So that's a pretty formidable force.
If you take any Jedi you think about, like they use the Force to enhance their strength. So think about like taking a Wookiee and he's like, all right, I'm going to rip this person apart, but I'm going to use the Force to help me.
Yeah.
It's like just like shoop.
Yeah, like really fast. It's really quick.
That's all you need.
Yeah. It's like Rucker's like a Wookiee there with all of his strength. He can just.
Well, this is why Rucker just walks up to the bar and he says, "I got this."
I got this, and just
That's all you need.
That's it.
So did anything else happen in that?
So
episode?
We go back.
Right. So that we kind of found out that. Like she did start the fire, but she didn't mean to start the fire.
She didn't mean to start the fire.
Right? She just wanted to light the book on fire, but as often happens
in stone buildings, when you throw fire against stones,
everything goes up.
Everything goes up in flames.
Well, the virgins in the Force that caused life to come back just coated everying in gasoline.
Kerosene.
It's just a natural occurrence.
Yeah, it was a natural kerosene occurrence.
So everything
on the stone walls.
Yeah.
Torben, we learn, is so also choices, so impatient, and so willing to get off the planet. If we find this virgin so I can go home, let's go. I'm out of here. Off on the speeder. So then they got to chase him down, right? That's you kids making your just whimsical decisions, not thinking things through there.
Kids are so full of whimsy.
They are. They're so full of whimsy. It's 16. They just want to just get back to home. They don't want to hang out on this camping trip anymore, this 7-week camping trip of digging up moss. It's boring, right? Right, Rucker?
Yeah. I think I'm more confused about why they didn't just leave, because the Jedi said they could leave. Not to interfere.
It did seem like they were faced with a choice. It was like, hey, we could do the thing that would make the most people happy, or we could do this other thing. Right. And they distinctly decided, let's do the other thing.
Let's do the other thing. Yeah.
The council wouldn't want us to hop in here and cause a muck. They wouldn't want us to but I got a gut feeling.
Saul was so determined to get, because she made fun of him earlier for not having a Padawan.
Right.
So then he sees May and Osha, and he's like, ooh, Osha's the good one. She wants to be a Jedi. I want a Padawan. I'm going to make sure that this happens. Even though the council said, don't do it, I'm going to do it anyway. And then Torben says, okay, if we get them, I can go home. So I'm going to go do what I want to do. And then I was very confused with Mother Coral.
Yeah, so she went to become a big smoke monster. It looked like she was about to like try and intervene in a way to like calm things down.
Right.
But Soul, I guess, saw her becoming a smoke monster and decided this thing needs to die with my lightsaber now.
And he put the lightsaber through smoke, and she apparently didn't.
Well, she wasn't all. I guess she wasn't all smoke yet.
You're
if
right.
she had been all smoke, that's fine. But he just caught her in time. I don't know. Again, Soul is striking me as very non-Jedi. Like he was Mr. Sincere, like lovey dad guy the whole beginning, and the more we go in, the less I trust him.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking we're going to find out some dark stuff about him. Maybe he's the bad guy.
And that goes back to what the stranger was saying last in episode 5. Like, oh, I know why I'm angry. I know why I'm bad. Why are you angry? Why are you're not controlling it? Blah blah blah. Whatever. So he definitely has something more in there. We did see a little bit more in episode 7 as to why he is the way he is, why he's angry and whatever. I like the story. It's growing on me. I'm still Nick with you about the acting.
Yeah.
And I feel like I give Lee Jung Jae a whole bunch of credit. He doesn't speak English.
He learned for this show.
He learned for this show. So I give him so much credit for that.
Yeah, but the rest of the actors speak English.
Right. And the rest of the actors, I feel like they're dumbing down their acting to compensate for his.
Maybe.
I don't know.
It's just not great acting.
It's not great acting.
Really
I wish it was better. I wish the acting was better because I like the story. I'm liking the story more. And both of these episodes, I rewatched them knowing that we were going to be talking about them today. And on the rewatch, I got a little bit more out of it. I enjoyed it a little bit more. And even after like doing some research by watching other people talking about it and stuff, there's a lot of details in here that everybody is missing because the acting is so bad.
Right. They're just focusing on the quality of the
product. Yeah,
which is fine. You know, you got to know that going in. Like, you need to make a quality product, or else the story is going to suffer.
Yeah,
people aren't going to get out of it what they want to get out of it.
What's his name? The Wookiee Kalnaka. When Kalnaka first jumped down, they played Kylo Ren's music again. I don't know if you heard it, but Kylo Ren's music played again. And this is the third time in this series that they've played Kylo's music when a Sith was doing something, or a bad guy for that matter.
Right.
Because, Kalnaka was possessed into being a bad guy at that point in time. So they played his music again. So the writers and the producers are really trying to pull as much from the books, like you said, from the video games, from canon, from not canon, and trying to combine things together. The Jedi that was on the council with the Conehead Jedi.
Oh yeah, Ki-Adi-Mundi.
Yeah, like the one thing that everybody was complaining early on was he shouldn't be there. He shouldn't have even been born yet. Yeah. They changed his birth date in Wikipedia to compensate for this type of thing. So they were even like stretching so far that they missed the non-canon book about him not being born yet.
Right.
But they wanted to tie something in, and they said, "Oh, this guy will fit." So I'm giving them more props and more credit as we go along. But the problem is that the product isn't great. Yeah. And because it's not great, like even on IMDb, it has episode 7 has a 4.4 out of 10.
Yep.
And like in the very beginning, we were like, "Oh, it's just people hating on it." But
no, it's not good, man.
It's just not good.
It's a bummer.
And Rucker said it's his favorite show of all time. So we're really
that's trouble. That's trouble.
Rucker likes Bad Batch,
good.
Right? I like. Bad Batch is good. My favorite animated Star Wars is Clone Wars, though.
That's a smart decision.
Yeah.
Have you watched Rebels?
Yes. That is my second favorite.
Yeah, Rebels is also quality stuff.
Rebels is quality stuff.
Quality
Both
stuff.
of those are very good quality. I think Rebels is a little easier to watch because
There's way less. First
way
of all.
less.
And,
yeah.
and it's, every episode kind of lends to the next one. Whereas in Clone Wars, you have stretches that is like, let's take a break from the big story to go hang with the droids.
Yeah.
Or let's, you know what I mean? There's all sorts of different things.
Clone Wars had a lot of 3 or 4 episode arcs.
Exactly, yeah.
Where Rebels was more of a
season arc
season
sort of a
story.
thing,
Yeah,
for sure.
So
So we got one more episode left.
One more episode
I'm
left.
hoping we tie up some of these bows and get a good long finale out of it. But yeah, it's overall it's not I think it's better than Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, I think Book of Boba Fett still. I mean, that Vespa scene is going to be the demise of
Boba Fett.
Boba Fett. Yeah,
Yeah,
there was a post that said, "What would you rather see, Obi-Wan season 2 or Book of Boba Fett season 2?"
Obi-Wan season 2.
And
100%.
I said, if Book of Boba Fett season 2 is way better than season 1,
Then
I'd
yeah, sure.
rather see a season 2 of Book of Boba
Right.
Fett. But if it's going to be the same thing,
Right.
then Obi-Wan.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay. So yeah, we will have one more episode to lock up our breakdown of the Acolyte.
Oh, by the way, Nick, this is really funny. Our good
Tell me.
friend over there, Rucker, wherever he is, that you're watching, down, left, right, up, down, sideways, wherever he is, he did what I did when I was younger also with our email names. His email name, I'm not going to go through his whole thing, but when you get an email from him, his last name, Skywalker.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is that
I
what
was
you
like,
did?
yeah.
I was never that hip.
No. Well, mine, because I was a big Beverly Hills 90210 fan.
Oh.
Yeah, so it was right as soon as when Dylan McKay was written off the show and supposedly died, and then he came back 3 seasons later, I wanted to make sure that his name lived on in infamy. So that was in the middle of mine.
Okay.
It was Dylan McKay was in the middle of it. And I sent an email to a principal thanking him for a job interview.
As that.
Yeah, so it was a little embarrassing. So, Rucker, just keeping in mind for you as you go on, when you send a reply to a professional, just change the last name.
Later on when you're maybe applying for schools and stuff, maybe just make sure that it says your name and not Skywalker. Yeah.
But for now, keep it. It's awesome.
But thanks for being on, Rucker. It was a pleasure to talk to you.
Yeah.
When is your next? Do you have a date for your next competition?
Not right now.
All right. Well, so now you're just kind of in maintenance training mode, just pushing to the next step.
Yeah.
Great,
Does your school have a weightlifting team, or is it just strictly through the gym?
Strictly through the gym. Apparently, my school used to have one, but it no longer does.
Well, maybe you can be the one that starts
There you go.
it.
You start it back up again.
That's right.
Well, we're rooting for you.
Yeah, man.
Hopefully, 4-8 years from now, we see your name in the Olympics. If not, it's not a letdown. Believe you me. I don't want you to feel let down if that doesn't happen.
I do.
Nick does.
I want you to feel terrible if that doesn't happen. How could you?
let
I
all
was in
of
the
us
Olympics
down.
at the age of 7.
He was.
7 years old.
I used to tell the kids, some of them didn't get it, and some of them were like, "You're an idiot." No. I told them that I was in the Olympics for javelin catching.
That's not a thing.
And they're like,
Rob.
"Wait, what?" And I said, "Yeah, I caught one that was 700 feet, thrown 700." They're like, "Nobody throws a javelin that far." And I'm like, "No, you didn't even understand that I said I was catching the javelin." So yeah. So there you go.
So yeah, we have we're very glad to have you, Rucker. Thank you for hanging out with a couple old dudes and talking a little Star Wars and regaling us with stories of your lifting.
Thank you.
We wish you much luck in your future endeavors of picking up heavy things and putting them back down. And thanks for joining us.
It's like
Thank
track.
you
We
for
run
everything.
fast and then we stop.
That's right.
And also with your orchestra too.
That's right.
You
Yeah,
could,
keep playing the violin.
You could play the violin with some guy named John Williams someday. I don't know if you ever heard of that guy or
I
not.
don't know, man. He's
Yeah.
getting kind of.
John Williams is getting kind of old. He's 96 now.
Do you listen to John Williams?
Yes.
As you should. You check it out. And you should also check out Tom Amin. He does a lot of good Star Wars stuff. We haven't talked to Tom in a while.
We haven't talked to Tom in a while. We just got to hit him up.
Anyway, it's been a pleasure. We will be back with the finale of Acolyte once that airs, and hopefully we will be coming back with, oh my gosh, that blew my mind. That totally made up for the entirety of the rest of the season.
Right, when we're like, wow.
I can't believe Darth Jar Jar was actually behind it the entire
whole
time.
time.
Yeah.
Incredible, and it's totally worth it. But
And Rucker's going to come back and tell us that he deadlifted 700 kilos.
kilos,
Yes, 700 kilos.
Two Volkswagens,
Volkswagen.
with me and Rob sitting in either one of them.
That's right.
That's right. But thank you very much.
Yep, thank you, buddy.
To Rucker, to all of you out there, and from all of us here at Bantha Milk Podcast headquarters, we have spoken.
We have spoken.
Say it, Rucker.
Say it, Rucker.
We- Good.
Yeah.